We finally got our big boy intercooler. We paired that with some big boy intercooler piping and paired that with a big boy fuel pump. I cut some things that weren't needed, that were less important than the things I wanted to put in place of what was cut. We made fuel lines and got the fuel system completely wrapped up. I didn't bleed once, and I still have all my fingers. That is some thickness. Well, there's some little tabs down there to hold it at the height that I want. That's about all we can do. We have a 3.5 inch. This is the only piece of 3.5 inch that I have. I'm pretty sure it's for an intake. So I ordered a set of 3.5 inch intercooler piping that should be here in a couple days. So we're gonna jump back here to the fuel system, which I purchased all this like a year and a half ago and had to go get a couple more fittings because either I used them on the bug or we counted incorrectly. So this is the heat exchanger for the water to air intercooler. Surprisingly, for the amount of room we have back here, there's really not that much room. I could do a smaller fuel cell, that's a 20 gallon, but I thought, like, I really want to street drive this, and long term this would be a pretty sweet race week vehicle. So big fuel tank makes more sense in my mind. So that's what we're gonna roll with. So we have this guy, which is a -12. So this is gonna come off of the fuel tank, feed into the first filter, and then through here, and then the pump is a -10. Basically, we want a big nozzle up there so there's no limit to how much this can suck out of the tank. And then -10 all the way up, and then here it will merge to -8, and then the return will be -8 as well. So we have all the fittings we need. So long story short, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull this as far forward as I can. This thing is so massive, and there's one more filter that goes on it. I'm trying to avoid putting this right over the axle. So we're gonna stick this there. The only way to do that is to have this feed from this side and loop up. So I'm gonna notch out this and then box it in so that little sloop can set in there, or at least not touch this. And then this support will not have been in vain. And then we should have a ton of room back there for that. Wow, that's big. Look, my forearms, they're huge because I work out a lot on my forearms only in the shower, and it's bigger than my forearm. That's pretty crazy. We now have intercooler piping. We now have, I went and bought a stick of -12 fuel line, which is pretty sizable stuff. So we have everything for the fuel system, and if I do need anything else, I found a shop today in town that has everything in stock. We have intercooler piping for the intercooler. We have the intercooler. We have the whole intercooler kit. So if anything doesn't get done in this video, it's 100% my fault. So I just went and spent way too much money. Look at that friggin' price tag. And right there, give me a break. Anyways, I spent too much money on that. and basically the turbo inlet was not 3.5 inch, and I was like, well, I don't want to go buy a different one of these. And so luckily we'll still be able to use that for that second pipe coming to the intake. But I found this thing that a buddy gave me from his Evo, Lord knows how long ago, big nasty piece of cast. And so here's what I've created. Lop this off of that. And then this is about the same size, and then this is 3.5 inch, which is what our intercooler piping is. So I've beveled this down the way I want it, and this will be our 90 here coming off of the turbo. Kind of ground that down so it's a little bit more aggressive. So that's what we're gonna do here. And then we have this piece of the puzzle kind of tacked and some of it's welded in place. So then this will come off here, go right down to that. And then that back one should be, with that, I don't think we're gonna have to cut anymore. This should be pretty straightforward. Probably just put that 90 right there, and then we will be good to go on that side of things. Extremely random, but I wanted to show you guys this. Someone, I never advertise my welding as a service for obvious reasons, but I was recommended by someone, and someone wanted an indestructible dog kennel. And this is what I came up with. You could fit an alligator inside it, or a lion, or a small zebra. You could do a lot of things with it, and it's very heavy. That's probably... I bet that's at least 100 pounds off the ground. But yeah, strange, huh? I didn't make a dime doing that, but whatever. Slowly diversifying what we do here at Garage Idiots. Okay, so that first one does that number like such and pops up right there. The smaller, like dash 10, dash 8, the fittings go together pretty easily, but when you're snugging these down, man, you really have to crank, and it feels like you're gonna strip it the whole time. But I watched a Motion Raceworks video. They have a whole video on how to put these things together, and he said towards the end it gets pretty tough, and so I just kept going, and it seems to be fine. So now we'll start on the all the dash 10 stuff. You can push the hose into these fittings, but the neighbors have this tool, and it kind of just makes it easier. I prefer it personally now that I've used it. Voila. So you want it, there's a little lip inside there before the threads start, and that's about where you want it. These are, I mean, that's a snug fit though. Like I can't even press it off. So that definitely helps. It's unnecessary, but it helps. Also, while we're here, they make these really cool aluminum thingy bobs that you put in your vise to hold the aluminum and fittings so you don't scratch them. And we don't have that, but we have paper towel. Take this, dip it in a tiny bit of oil for the lubrication, and you shove it in the hole. We are making a, gotta make a little bracket for the fuel pressure regulator. I'm basically just gonna copy what we did over here for the exhaust holder hanger bracket mount thing. So I cut another, I don't know where these keep coming from, but I found another wrist pin and I cut it in half. And so we're gonna stick these two on there like such. And then the idea is this will sit somewhere in this area. Is kind of what I'm thinking. We got a little bit of work done actually. I'm kind of excited. So fuel pump, that line fuel pump to second filter, filter all the way up to the front right there, and then little line into that, and then little line into that. So then now I'm gonna run down the street in a minute and get a U. So this one's gonna U, go back to the regulator. This one will 90, and then we'll send it back there to the other side of the regulator and then down. And then the dash 8 actually fits right next to the dash 10 for the return in this little nook down here. So regulator will be there, and then we'll wrap the dash 8 underneath, snake it back through. This is, for some reason it doesn't fit on that side, but this is actually away from the exhaust quite a bit. And then there's a cover that goes underneath the torque tube all the way back. And so the line is able to kind of rest up in that for a minute to keep it up off the ground. So it should work out pretty well. So we just had to figure out where that's officially gonna go. Otherwise I can't make the proper length and it'll be all, I've already had to redo one. It wasn't a huge deal, but we don't want to do it again. Okay, that's everything except for the return line. I have to dip a ton of stuff tonight, and I really want to show you guys what we've gotten done, and so I'm gonna cut that there. And then tomorrow, after I'm done clearing everything, I'm dipping it tonight, I'll get back on it, and we'll have another video out for you, hopefully sooner than later. So let me show you what we got. That dash 10 comes up, splits into two dash 8s, comes this way. This one goes over to the fuel pressure regulator, comes in on that side from the T, goes down here, loops around into the fuel pressure regulator. So the only one we have left is to shoot a dash 8 down, run it back to the car, and then I don't know if this is what I'm set on doing, but this is what we originally had planned. The return will pop back into here. This was before I could weld, so I bought an adapter. But so we could buy like a little bung for a dash 8, stick it on the side, or I don't know, but it will return to the tank, hence the name return line. So following that, we need to mount the fuel cell, mount the heat exchanger for the water to air intercooler, run the lines, figure out where the pump's gonna go, and then basically after that, it's gonna be a wiring fiasco. Wire up the pump, put a relay on it, wire up the water pump, put a relay on it, hook up Holly, figure out what we need, what we're missing, what I still need to get is a different gas pedal for the cable. I need to buy a little bracket that goes right here for the throttle cable. And then I have this is a stock Silverado throttle cable, and it's pretty short, and that actually might do the job. So we'll see if we end up using that or not. But in this video, we got all the intercooler pipe done. We got the intercooler in there. Fuel lines are done. Back here, we got that notched out. We got the pump hooked up. We got filter in place. So not a ton visually, but tedious bits that we needed to get done to move on to the next step. The intercooler piping came out pretty sweet, I think, personally, for something I did, it's pretty decent. So if you guys could do me a huge favor, comment purple bananas and hit the like button, tell YouTube this video was good. If you enjoyed it, of course. I gotta dip all that stuff, those pieces, those things, not a ton to do, but nonetheless, I gotta get it done because I have more stuff that needs to go in there for more dipping. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.